Hi everybody, my name is Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Caden.
We are the Who in the Torah YouTube channel.
And we thank you guys very much for joining us. And we are finishing up our Enoch series, and we're reading it together as a big family, and you guys are included. We thank you guys very, very much. Now, gentlemen, what has happened every time that we were going to do the last chapters last week, and we got rained out or something happened out, and we were unable to do it, all this week we've been just struggling with everything. We haven't made it to it. All right, what has happened? Cade?
I am getting close to the table.
That's good. That's good. You're getting him closer to the table so his little tiny mic will be able to go into the mic. Now let's go.
So last time we had a shepherd kind of parable thing where all these cows came down and mated with all these other animals. That was relating to the fallen angels. And then we basically go over to like a prophecy where all these sheep and all these shepherds will go out, and we had like Moses, we had sheep cross this river. Basically, like Enoch gets to see the future in the form of a bunch of sheeps.
Yeah, and so, Eli, what is yours for today, say?
The third period from Alexander the Great to the Greco-Syrian domination.
Yeah, so if you guys don't actually
First part.
recognize it, we didn't recognize it either, so I guess you'd have to study history to actually know what we're seeing here. Some of it we were able to see because some of it related to Bible stuff that we saw, and some of it is outside of Bible stuff, so we don't really have too much of an account on it. But let us begin, and we will see what's going on. All right, here we go. This is Enoch. This is chapter 90 for me. Caden, what version are you using?
The Bible, or the Book of Enoch.
The Book of Enoch from the Google Store app. Jaden?
Lost Books of the Bible, The Great Rejected Text by
Yep.
Joseph B. Lumpkin.
And we missed you last time, Jub, so I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Were you having a good beauty snooze last time?
Yeah, I guess.
Did you snooze 4 hours?
No, it was only 2.
Oh, okay. Well, that was the time we were reading Enoch. All right.
Hallelujah Scriptures version.
Okay.
And I have a wikisource.org.
Wikisource.org instead of some dude's website. Now we got
Yeah.
Wikisource. I don't even know what that is. Okay. So here we go. Enoch 90. And I observed during the time that thus 37 shepherds were overlooking, all of whom finished in their respective periods as the first. Others then received them into their hands, that they might overlook them in their respective periods, every shepherd in his own period.
And mine says 35 shepherds.
Mine does too.
Yours 35?
35.
Everybody? Caden, what's your say?
Mine says,
Yours says I should pay attention. Oh, what does it say?
we're going to say 35.
Does it say 37?
37, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 37.
That's why you got to pay attention. All right, 37. We have three 35s.
Yep.
All right, so there's 35 and 37. How did they get this mixed up?
I don't know.
Verse 2. Afterwards I saw in the vision that all the birds of heaven arrived, eagles, the avest, kites, and ravens. The eagle instructed them all. Okay?
The vultures and the hawks and the ravens.
Vultures and the hawks and the ravens. Okay, did it say the eagle instructed them all?
Yep.
Mine says, but the eagle led all the birds.
The eagle led all the birds. That's weird. And this is what period again, Eli?
This is the third period from Alexander the Great to the Greco-Syrian domination.
Greco-Syrian domination. Okay, so this is from the third period from Alexander the Great, and he was like 325 BC, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and so we're somewhere between 325 BC and somewhere exactly. Okay, but the eagle instructed them all. They began to devour the sheep, to peck out their eyes, and to eat up their bodies. The sheep then cried out, for their bodies were devoured by the birds. I also cried out and groaned in my sleep against the shepherd, which overlooked the flock. And I looked, while the sheep were eaten up by the dogs, by the eagles, and by the kites. They neither left them their body, nor their skin, nor their muscles, until their bones alone remained, until their bones fell upon the ground, and the sheep became diminished. Anyone have anything different?
No.
Okay. I observed likewise during the time that 23 shepherds were overlooking, who completed in their respective periods 58 periods. You guys have 23?
Yep, 23 and 50, yep.
And 58, okay. Then were small lambs born of those white sheep, who began to open their eyes and to see, crying out to the sheep. The sheep, however, cried not out to them, neither did they hear what they uttered to them, but were deaf, blind, obdurate in the greatest degrees. What do you guys have?
Mine says exceedingly blinded. But and this is a new period. Fourth period from the Greco-Syrian domination to the Maccabean revolt.
Okay, so this is from the Greco-Syrian domination
To the Maccabean.
to the Maccabean revolt. Okay, so here we go. 8. Let's see, actually 9. The sheep, however, cried I think I read that one. Yep. 10. I saw in the vision that ravens flew down upon those lambs. that they seized one of them, and that tearing the sheep in pieces, they devoured them. I saw also that the horns grew upon those lambs, and that the ravens lighted down upon their horns. I saw too that a large horn sprouted out of an animal among the sheep, and that their eyes were opened. He looked at them, their eyes were wide open, and he cried out to them. Then the Dabela saw him, all of whom ran to him. What do you guys have?
Rams.
The ram.
The Rams? See, this thing has a capital D for Dabela. Dabela. You guys don't have a capital? It just says
No, mine says rams. And the
Rams
rams
saw
saw
him?
it. And the rams saw it and all ran to it.
Huh. Nothing like that. Kid, what do you got?
Develop.
Dabela. All right. Eli, what do you have?
It's just,
You have-
mine says what theirs said. Rams.
Okay. All right. 16. And besides this, all the eagles, the aves, the ravens, and the kites were still carrying off the sheep, flying down upon them and devouring them. The sheep were silent, but the Dabela lamented and cried out. So the ram cried out. The rams or ram?
Rams.
Rams. Okay, so this one says plural rams, and the other says a common name of some kind. Okay, then the ravens contended and struggled with them. They wished among them to break his horn, but they prevailed not over him. I looked on them until the shepherds, the eagles, the aves, and the kites came, who cried out to the ravens to break the horn of the Dabela, to contend with him and to kill him. But he struggled with them and cried out that help might come to him. Eli, what do you got?
It just went to a new period. The last assault of the Gentiles on the Jews.
The last assault of the Gentiles on the Jews. Huh. Okay, if that helps anyone out there, this is where we're at. Then I perceived that the man came who had written down the names of the shepherds and who ascended up before Yahuwah of the sheep. He brought assistance and caused everyone to see him descending to the help of the Dabela. I perceived likewise that Yahuwah of the sheep came to them in wrath, while all of those who saw him fled away. All fell down in his tabernacle before his face, while all the eagles, the aves, ravens, and kites assembled and brought with them all the sheep of the field. All came together and strove to break the horn of the Dabela. Then I saw that the man who wrote the sefer at the word of Yahuwah opened the sefer of destruction, of that destruction which the last 12 shepherds wrought, and pointed out before Yahuwah of the sheep that they destroyed more than those who proceeded before them. Does anyone have anything different?
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm going back up to my 14. I don't know where yours is, but... And I saw till the man who wrote down the names of the shepherds and lifted up into the presence of the Adon of the sheep. And I saw till the Adon of the sheep came to them in wrath, and all who saw him fled. And they all fell from before his face. All the eagles and the vultures and the ravens and the hawks were gathered together. And there came with them all the sheep of the field, even all came together, and helped each other to break the horn of the ram. And I saw the man who wrote the book according to the command of Yahuwah, till he opened the book concerning the destruction of which those 12 last shepherds had wrought, and showed that they had destroyed much more in their predecessors before the Adon of the sheep.
Okay. Cade, will you please stop biting your nails? All right. 27. I saw, too, that the large sword was given to the sheep, who went forth against all the beasts of the field to slay them. But all the beasts and birds of heaven fled away from before their face. And I saw a throne erected in a delectable land. Upon this sat Yahuwah of the sheep, who received all the sealed Sephrim, which were opened before him. Then Yahuwah called the first 7 white ones, and commanded them to bring before him the first of the first stars, which preceded the stars whose form partly resembled that of horses, the first star which fell down first, and they brought them all before him. Eli, what you got?
New period. Judgment of the fallen angels, the shepherds, and the apostates.
Well, I don't know where this guy's getting all this stuff. I don't know how you would actually figure this out. I don't know. 33. And he spoke to the man who wrote in his presence, who was one of the 7 white ones, saying, Take those 70 shepherds to whom I delivered up the sheep, and receiving them killed more of them than I commanded. Behold, I saw them all bound and standing before him. First came on the trial of the stars, which being judged and found guilty, went to the place of punishment. They thrust them into the deep, full of flaming fire and full of pillars of fire. Then the 70 shepherds were judged, and being found guilty, were thrust into the flaming abyss. 70 shepherds. Wasn't that the angels? That's the fallen angels, right? Okay. So what do you guys have? What are you guys figuring out here?
So basically, I'm thinking that the sheep that like were all killed. These dudes like killing all of their sheep and like they're really terrible shepherds.
So, well, I mean, that's what do you think the shepherds are here? So yours says what? Okay,
Ju-
this is the judgment of
The fallen angels, the shepherds, and the apostates.
Okay, so I don't know exactly what it is, but the fallen are in on this whole thing for sure. Who are the 70? Who are the other shepherds?
Maybe that's man. Maybe that's who they're supposed to be guiding.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, at that time, likewise, I perceived that one abyss was thus opened in the midst of the earth, which was full of fire. And to this were brought the blind sheep, which being judged and found guilty, were all thrust into the abyss of fire on the earth and burnt. The abyss was on the right of that house. And I saw the sheep burning and their bones consuming. Go ahead, Ia.
Now we're in the new one. The New Jerusalem, the conversion of the surviving Gentiles, the resurrection of the righteous, the Messiah.
The New Jerusalem? Mm-hmm. Okay. I stood beholding him emerge that ancient house, while they brought out its pillars, every plant in it, and the ivory enfolding it. They brought it out and deposited it in a place on the right side of the earth. I also saw that Yahuwah the sheep produced a new house, great and loftier than the former, which he bound by the former circular spot. All its pillars were new, and its ivory new, as well as more abundant than the former ancient, which he had brought out. Okay, so if we're talking about New Jerusalem, what are we talking about here?
So he gets rid of the old one and brings out the new.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought New Jerusalem is Mount Zion. I think that's what they call New Jerusalem, right?
I believe
Anyone
so.
with
I
me?
believe so.
On this, no one knows? Because I mean, I don't, why are we to New Jerusalem right here? Because I mean, it's talking about his pillars. You guys say the same thing, ivory? Its pillars were new.
Okay, so mine says, and carried off all the pillars and all the beams and ornaments of the house.
What do you mean carried off? Where does it say that?
So like right in, I don't know, it's 28 for me.
Yeah, how, start again.
And I stood up to see till they folded up that old house and carried off all the pillars and all the beams and ornaments of that house were at the same time folded up with it, and they carried off and laid it in the south of the land.
Oh, okay, that was,
This is the right.
that's
of
the
the
one.
earth.
Okay, what's it say next after that?
And it said, and I saw till the Adon of the sheep brought a new house greater and loftier than the first, and set it up in the place of the first, which had been folded up. All its pillars were new, and its ornaments were new, and larger than those of the first. The old one which he had taken away, and all the sheep were within it.
All right, I don't think we've seen this yet. I don't think we've seen New Jerusalem. I don't think we've seen anything like this yet. I don't know. 40. And while all the sheep which were left were in the midst of it, all the beasts of the earth and all the birds of heaven fell down and worshipped them, petitioning them and obeying them in everything. Then those three who were clothed in white and who, holding me by my hand, had before caused me to ascend, while the hand of him who spoke with me raised me up and placed me in the midst of the sheep before the judgment took place.
Okay, so mine says, in the hand of that ram also seizing hold of me.
The ram?
Uh-huh.
Okay, your guys say the ram.
Yep.
And so where does your guys say ram? What does mine say here?
Okay. Let me
Hold
start.
on. Go ahead. Just read your whole thing.
And thereafter those three who were clothed in white, and had seized me by my hand, who had taken me up before, and the hand of that ram also seizing hold of me, they took me up and set me down in the midst of those sheep before the judgment took place.
Is this the same ram that nobody could fight and beat up just a little bit ago?
Yeah,
The one that had a
maybe.
name? Why is he talking now? Why are they talking? I don't understand this. All right. The sheep were all white, with wool long and pure. Then all who had perished and had been destroyed, every beast of the field and every bird of heaven, assembled in that house, while Yahuwah of the sheep rejoiced with great joy, because all were good and had come back again to his dwelling. And I saw that which they laid down, the sword which had been given to the sheep, and returned it to his house, sealing it up in the presence of Yahuwah. All the sheep would have been enclosed in that house, had it been capable of containing them, and the eyes of all were open, gazing on the good one, nor was there one among them who did not behold him. Okay, good one is capitalized in mine. What do you guys have?
Mine just says, and they saw their good, and there was not one among them that did not see.
But it doesn't say gazing on the good one or anything?
And they saw the good.
And they saw the good. Okay, but didn't say anything.
No, there's no good one or like.
Okay, I think that's got to be like Yahusha, I think. Maybe, or Yah, one of the two. There's only one good, right? Actually, it would be Yah, right? Because Yahusha said there's only one good. Okay, I likewise perceived that the house was large, wide, and extremely full. I saw too that a white cow was born, whose horns were great, and that all the beasts of the field and all the birds of heaven were alarmed at him, and entreated him at all times. Then I saw that the nature of all of them was changed, and that they became white cows. And that the first in the midst of them spoke, when that word was a wild ox. Upon the head of that wild ox were great and black horns. You have something else, Nicole?
Yeah, it's different.
What do you got?
And I saw till all the generations were transformed, and they became white bulls. And the first among them became a lamb. And the lamb became a great animal, and had great black horns on its head. And the add-on of the sheep rejoiced over it, and over all the oxen.
Eli, do you have anything else in yours?
Mine's almost the same as hers.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. 48 says, while Yahuwah of the sheep rejoiced over them and over all the cows, I laid down in the midst of them. I awoke and saw the whole. This is the vision which I saw lying down and waking. Then I blessed Yahuwah of righteousness and gave glory to him. Afterwards I wept abundantly, nor did my tears cease, so that I became incapable of enduring it. While I was looking on, they flowed on account of what I saw. For all was come and gone by. Every individual circumstance respecting the conduct of mankind was seen by me. In that night I remembered my former dream, and therefore wept and was troubled because I had seen that vision. Okay, anyone have anything different?
No.
All right, so let's go to 91 here.
Mine says the Epistle of Enoch.
The Epistle of Enoch. Okay, this is interesting. What's your say, Eli?
Enoch's admonition to his children.
Okay. All right, and now, my son Methuselah, call to me and your brethren, and assemble for me all the children of your mother. For a voice calls me, and the Ruach is poured out upon me, that I may show you everything which may happen to you forever. Then Methuselah went, called to him all his brethren, and assembled his kindred. And conversing with all his children in truth, said, Hear, my children, every word of your father, and listen up in uprightness to the voice of my mouth. For I would gain your attention while I address you, my beloved. Be attached to integrity and walk in it. Boy, I like that. I like the sound of that. That should start off when I'm talking to you guys. Guys, I need to gain your attention. That's good. All right. Approach not integrity with a double heart, nor be associated with double-minded men, but walk, my children, in righteousness, which will conduct you in good paths, and let your truth be your companion. So who does that sound like? It sounds like Solomon. Like it's like the Proverbs almost. But I mean, this is obviously Enoch, but it has the same ring to it. For I know that oppression will exist and prevail on earth, that on earth great punishment shall be in the end take place, and that there shall be a consummation of all iniquity, which shall be cut off from its root, and every fabric shall pass away. Iniquity, however, shall again be renewed and consummated on earth. Every act of crime and every act of oppression and impiety shall be a second time embraced. So whatever the word, I think we're here, right? It says at the end of time, it says every act of crime and every act of oppression, it's embraced, right? If there is a world that we're living right now, the world embraced sin. They love it.
Mine says violence and transgression shall prevail in double amount.
Yeah, we're here. When therefore iniquity, sin, blasphemy, tyranny, and every work shall increase, and transgression, impiety, and uncleanness shall increase, upon them all shall great punishment be inflicted from heaven. The holy Yahuwah shall go forth in wrath, and upon them all shall great punishment from heaven be inflicted. The holy Yahuwah shall go forth in wrath, and with punishment, that he may execute judgment upon earth. In those days oppression shall be cut off from its roots, and iniquity with fraud shall be eradicated, perishing from under heaven. All the idols of the nations shall be surrendered with its inhabitants. With fire it shall be burnt. They shall be brought from every part of the earth and be cast into a judgment of fire. They shall perish in wrath, and by a judgment overpowering them forever. So this is like, does anyone get what's going on?
The people who did like Torlessness got punished here.
Yeah, it says all the idols. It says basically all the idols. So it's like the angels are going to go round up all the idols across the earth and just burn them all. So that seems to me. Anyone else have anything? Okay. Righteousness shall be raised up from slumber, and wisdom shall be raised up and conferred upon them. Then shall the roots of iniquity be cut off. Sinners perish by the sword, and blasphemers be annihilated everywhere. Those who meditate oppression and those who blaspheme by the sword shall perish. And now, my children, I will describe and point out to you the path of righteousness and the path of oppression. I will again point them out to you, that you may know what is to come. Hear now, my children, and walk in the path of righteousness, but shun that of oppression, for all who walk in the path of iniquity shall perish forever. Next, chapter 92. That which was written by Enoch, he wrote all this instruction of wisdom for every man of dignity and every judge of the earth, for all my children who shall dwell upon earth, and for subsequent generations conducting themselves uprightly and peaceably. Let not your ruach be grieved on account of the times, for the Holy, the Great One, has prescribed a period to all. Let the righteous man arise from slumber. Let him arise and proceed in the path of righteousness in all its paths, and let him advance in goodness and eternal clemency. Mercy shall be showed to the righteous man. Upon him shall be conferred integrity and power forever. In goodness and in righteousness shall he exist, and shall walk in everlasting light. But sin shall perish in eternal darkness, nor be seen from that time forward forevermore. All right, when is this? When is this in the timescape of where we're at?
This has to be when the kingdom comes.
Even when the kingdom comes, I think there's still going to be a whole bunch of evil stuff out there. I think we'll all be fighting these things from the kingdom to come. But it says that sin shall perish in eternal darkness, nor be seen from that time forward forevermore. That's something we have not seen ever, right? Because all we see around us is complete evil, wickedness, and sin. All right, 93 for me.
Mine says the apocalypse of weeks.
The apocalypse of weeks.
The 10 weeks of judgment.
10 weeks of judgment. All right. After this, Enoch began to speak from a sefer. And Enoch said, concerning the children of righteousness, concerning the elect of the world, and concerning the plan of righteousness and integrity. These things will I speak of, and will I explain to you, my children. I am Enoch. In consequence of that which has been shown to me from my heavenly vision and from the voice of the watchers and holy ones, have I acquired knowledge, and from the tablet of heaven have I acquired understanding. Enoch then began to speak from a sefer, and said, I have been born the 7th in the 1st week, while judgment and righteousness wait with patience. I think he's talking the 7th in the 1st week. That is talking about a jubilee.
This is the first week of the judgment, I think.
First,
Mine says here, it says 93:3 is judgment and righteousness, Enoch's time, and 10.
But they're about to flood the place then, right? Is that what we're dealing with here?
That's the next. That's 93:4.
Okay, but after me, so this book goes all around. It goes from one part to the next part to the end of time to the beginning of time. It's all over the place. All right. But after me in the 2nd week, great wickedness shall arise, and fraud shall spring forth. Did I get the verse above that?
Yeah.
Okay. 6. In that week, the end of the first shall take place, in which man will be saved. But when it is completed, iniquity shall grow up, and he shall execute the decree upon sinners. Afterwards, in the 3rd week, during its completion, a man of the plant of righteous judgment shall be selected, and after him the plant of righteousness shall come forever.
Abraham.
Yep. Subsequently, in the 4th week, during its completion, the visions of the holy and the righteous shall be seen. The order of generation after generation, and a habitation shall be made for them.
Moses.
Then in the 5th week, during its completion, the house of glory and of dominion shall be erected forever.
Solomon.
Is it Solomon?
Yeah, it says Solomon's time.
Okay.
That's Solomon's. We're going through We're going through all the generations, basically to the end of time, I think here.
All right. After that, in the 6th week, all those who are in it shall be darkened. The hearts of all of them shall be forgetful of wisdom, and in it shall a man arise and come forth. Okay, this one says it's a capital M for man. And
it's Joshua.
Yahusha, okay. And during his completion he shall burn the house of dominion with fire, and all the race of the elect root shall be dispersed. Afterwards, in the 7th week, a perverse generation shall arise. Abundant shall be its deeds, and all its deeds perverse. During his completion, the righteous shall be selected from the everlasting plant of righteousness, and to them shall be given the 7-fold doctrine of his whole creation. Anyone know what that is?
So this is the apostate generation. It was a judgment of fire.
So this might be ours. This is might be ours.
9 to 11 might be. So you got to go to 11, and that finishes this.
Okay, I'm on 13. So afterwards there shall be another week, the 8th of righteousness, to which shall be given a sword to execute judgment and justice upon all oppressors. Sinners shall be delivered up into the hands of the righteous, who during its completion shall acquire habitations by their righteousness, and the house of the great king shall be established for celebrations forever. After this, in the 9th week, shall the judgment of righteousness be revealed to the whole world. Every work of the wicked shall disappear from the whole earth. The world shall be marked for destruction, and all men shall be on the watch for the path of integrity. And after this, on the 7th day of the 10th week, there shall be an everlasting judgment, which shall be executed upon the watchers, and a spacious eternal heaven shall spring forth in the midst of the angels. The former heaven shall depart and pass away. A renewed heaven shall appear, and all the celestial powers shine with sevenfold splendor forever. Okay, what did you guys say that? Something like this?
I'm like totally lost.
Okay, so I found this back in chapter 91.
Yeah, so that's what mine says here. 91. So week 8, 9, and 10 are all chapter 91.
Okay, so this is way out of whack.
Yes,
Okay,
so-
are you with me here?
No, I'm lost now. Now it's like mixed up as well.
Okay, so this one, the Zephyr's gone off.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
week 1 through 7 of Judgment, or week 1 through 1 through 7 is all chapter 93, verse 3 through 11, and then chapter 8 through 10 is 91, 12 through
Okay,
16.
this has to be the end times. It says
Right.
heaven and earth pass away, right?
Right,
Heaven and
that's-
earth pass away, and it says the celestial power shines sevenfold. So the sun, I mean, does that mean the sun's going to go 7 times brighter?
It's
Mine
not
says,
gonna like
all the
hurt
powers
us.
of heaven shall give sevenfold light.
Sevenfold light. I think that's 7 times more, right? I
Yeah,
believe.
maybe.
That's going to be one hot sun, folks. Okay, so 18 on mine. Neither shall sin be named there forever and ever. Who is there of all the children of men capable of hearing the voice of the Holy One without emotion? Who is there capable of thinking his thoughts? Who is capable of contemplating all the workmanship of heaven? Who is comprehending the deeds of heaven? He may behold its animation, but not its ruach. He may be capable of conversing, but not of ascending. He may see all the boundaries of these things and meditate upon them, but can make nothing like them. Who of all men is able to understand the breadth and length of the earth? By whom have all seen the dimensions of all these things? Is it every man who is capable of comprehending the extent of heaven, what its elevation is, and by what it's supported? How many are the numbers of stars, and where all the luminaries remain at rest? Okay, that takes me out of 93.
Okay, so I believe that's chapter 90, end of chapter 91 for us. Now it's
91.
That was the end of chapter 93 for me, that last little bit.
It's all over, man. There's
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
It's going back and forth here.
all right. Well, there's 5 versions here. We're trying to read out of this thing. So, okay, 94. I'm starting 94 for
Yep.
mine.
And mine says, admonitions to the righteous.
Admonitions of the righteous. Okay, and now let me exhort you, my children, to love righteousness and to walk in it, for the cycles of righteousness are worthy of acceptation, but the paths of iniquity shall suddenly fail and be diminished. To men of note in their generation, the paths of oppression and death are revealed, but they keep far from them and do not follow them. Now, too, let me exhort you, righteous, not to walk in the paths of evil and oppression, nor in the paths of death. Approach them not, that you may not perish, but covet, and choose for yourself righteousness and a good life. Okay, so for those who don't read or watch any of our other stuff, I mean, this could actually be out there years and years later where people are reading this out there. What is this all talking about right here?
It's saying choose for yourself righteousness and a good life. It's saying choose.
At the end of the day, if all we had to do was basically get one set of scriptures and that's all we had, what is this even talking about right here?
I would say this is talking about the Torah, those who follow the Torah, those who are walking in righteousness.
Yeah, it talks. I mean, if you're walking in righteousness, that means you keep the Torah and you walk as it says, because it says right here, the paths of iniquity shall suddenly fail and be diminished, and it also says the paths of oppression and death are revealed, but they keep far from them and do not follow them. Yeah, so I mean, this is if you guys were in the Torah, you guys wouldn't have to worry about any of this. Now, too, let me exhort you, righteous, not to walk in the paths of evil and oppression, nor in the paths of death. The paths of death is the paths of Torah, is walking without the Torah. Approach them not, that you may not perish, but covet, and choose for yourselves righteousness and a good life. Walk in the paths of peace, that you may live and be found worthy. Retain my words in your innermost thoughts, and obliterate them not from your hearts. For I know that sinners counsel men to commit crime craftily. They are not found in every place, nor does every counsel possess a little of them. Woe to those who build iniquity and oppression, and who lay the foundation of fraud. For suddenly they shall be subverted, and never obtain peace. Woe to those who build up their houses with crime. For from their very foundations shall their houses be demolished, and by the sword shall they fall. Those too who acquire gold and silver shall justly and suddenly perish. Woe to you who are rich, for in your riches have you trusted. But from your riches you shall be removed, because you have not remembered El Elyon in the days of your prosperity. You have committed blasphemy and iniquity, and are destined to the day of the effusion of blood, to the day of darkness, and to the day of the great judgment. What did you guys say for effusion
And to
of blood?
become ready for the day of slaughter.
The day of slaughter. Effusion of blood is the day of slaughter. You guys with me? The
Yeah,
other
that's what
versions?
I said, yeah.
You guys all have those stuff? You guys caught up?
Yep.
All right. 9. This I will declare and point out to you, that he who created you will destroy you. When you fall, he will not show you mercy, but your Creator will rejoice in your destruction.
All right.
That sounds really bad. It sounds this sounds opposite of the Yah that we know right now, because we know that he is slow to wrath and that he is trying every last bit of his patience to get us all among him. Okay, let those then who shall be righteous among you in those days detest sinners and the wicked. All right, chapter 95. Oh, that my eyes were clouds of water, that I might weep over you, and pour forth my tears like rain, and rest from the sorrow of my heart. Who has permitted you to hate and to transgress? Judgment shall overtake you, ye sinners. The righteous shall not fear the wicked, because Elohim will again bring them into your power, that you may avenge yourselves of them according to your pleasure. Woe to you who shall be so bound by execrations that you cannot be released from them. What did your guys say?
Woe to you who speak out curses, which you cannot be reversed. Healing shall therefore be far from you because of your sins.
Okay. The remedy being far removed from you on account of your sins. Woe to you who recompense your neighbor with evil, for you shall be recompensed according to your works. Woe to you false witnesses, you who aggravate iniquity, for you shall suddenly perish. Woe to you sinners, for you reject righteousness, for you receive or reject those who do iniquity, and their yoke shall prevail over you. This is just a reiteration of the Torah. This is all this is. I mean, essentially, there's nothing outside of the Torah in what we're reading here. All right, 96. Wait in hope, you righteous, for suddenly shall sinners perish from before you, and you shall exercise dominion over them according to your will. In the day of the sufferings of sinners, your offspring shall be elevated and lifted up like eagles. Your nest shall be more exalted than that of the Avest, and you shall ascend and enter into the cavities of the earth, and into the clefts of the rocks forever, like conies from the side of the wicked. Who shall groan over you and weep like sirens? You shall not fear those who troubled you, for restoration shall be yours. A splendid light shall shine around you, and the voice of tranquility shall be heard from heaven. Woe to you sinners, for your wealth makes you resemble Kadeshium, but your hearts reproach you, that you are sinners. This word shall testify against you for the remembrance of crime. Woe to you who feed upon the glory of the grain, and drink the strength of the deepest spring, and in your power tread down the humble. Woe to you who drink water at pleasure, for suddenly you shall be recompensed, consumed, and withered, because you have forsaken the foundation of life. Woe to you who act inquisitively, fraudulently, and blasphemously. There shall be a remembrance against you for evil. I don't think I read that word right. Inquitously. Okay, what did you guys say?
Woe to you who work in righteousness and deceit and blasphemy. It shall be a memorial against you for evil.
All right. Woe to you powerful, who with power strike down righteousness, for the day of your destruction shall come. At the very time, many and good days shall be the portion of the righteous at the period of your judgment. Is everyone with me?
Yep.
You guys all have the same stuff?
Yep.
What chapters are you guys all in?
We're 97 now. You just finished 96.
Okay, so yeah, we're starting 97. Okay. The righteous are confident that sinners will be disgraced and perish in the day of iniquity. You shall yourselves be conscious of it, for El Elyon will remember your destruction, and the angel shall rejoice over it. What will you do, sinners? And where will you fly in the day of judgment, when you shall hear the words of the prayer of the righteous? You are not like them, who in this respect witness against you. You are associates of sinners. In those days shall the prayers of the righteous come up before Yahuwah. When the day of your judgment shall arrive, and every circumstance of your iniquity be related before the great and the Holy One. Your faces shall be covered with shame, while every deed, strengthened by crime, shall be rejected. Woe unto you sinners, who in the midst of the sea and on dry land are those against whom an evil record exists. Woe to you who squander silver and gold, not obtained in righteousness, and say, we are rich, possess wealth, and have acquired everything which we can desire. Now then, will we do whatsoever we are disposed to do, for we have amassed silver, our barns are full, and the husbandmen of our family are like overflowing water. Like water shall your falsehood pass away, for your wealth will not be permanent, but shall suddenly ascend from you, because you have obtained it all inquitously. To extreme malediction shall you be delivered up. Eli, you're saying righteously?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What do you have, Nicole?
This says, therefore, like water, your lies shall flow away, and your riches shall not endure, but speedily depart from you. For you have acquired it in all unrighteousness, and you shall be given over to the great curse.
Okay. And now I swear to you, crafty, as well as simple ones, that you, often contemplating the earth, you men, clothe yourselves more elegantly than married women, and both together more so than a woman, and more colored than a girl, everywhere in majesty and magnificence, in authority and in silver, but gold, purple, honor, and wealth, like water, flow away. I guess your answers to like the world's about women. Women all get dressed up, I guess.
I guess it's the same for all generations.
I guess all some beta male guys do too. Like they want to dress up like women.
Weird guys.
Yeah, that ain't good. All right. Erudition, therefore, and wisdom are not theirs. Thus shall they perish, together with their riches, with all their glory, and with all their honors. While with disgrace, with slaughter, and in extreme penury, shall their ruach be thrust into a furnace of fire. What's your guys say?
Mine says penury.
Great destitution.
Destitution. Their spirit shall be cast into the furnace of fire.
Quick thing, I think we're in 98, and you're still in 97?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
good.
yeah, we're 98.
All right. I have sworn to you sinners that neither mountain nor hill has been or shall be subservient to women. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Neither in this way has crime been sent down to us upon the earth, but men of their own heads have invented it, and greatly shall those who give it efficiency be execrated. Having a tough time reading. All right. Barrenness shall not be previously inflicted on women, but on account of the work of their hands shall she die childless. So something the woman has done kills the kids.
So back up to where is about the mountain. It says, I have sworn unto you, you sinners, as a mountain has not become a slave, and a hill does not become the handmaid of a woman.
Oh. That makes more
I
sense.
don't quite understand why the mountain would be a handmaid, but some parallel there.
Yeah, something we're not understanding here. Okay, let's see. Visually, what was it? 15. Okay, I have sworn to you sinners by the holy and the great one that your evil deeds are disclosed in the heavens, and that none of your oppressive acts are concealed and secret. Think not in your minds, neither say in your hearts that every crime is not manifested and seen. In heaven it is daily written down before El Elyon. Henceforward shall it be manifested, for every act of oppression which you commit shall be daily recorded until the period of your condemnation. That's kind of scary right there.
Every deed, everything we've ever done is written down.
It might not mean anything to you or to us, but to in heaven, it seems like it's just, that's what these people are writing down. Okay, woe to you, simple ones, for you shall perish in your simplicity. To the wise you shall not listen. You will not listen, and that which is good you shall not obtain. Now therefore know that you are destined to the day of destruction, nor hope that sinners shall live. But in process of time you shall die, for you are not marked for redemption, but are destined to the day of the great judgment, to the day of distress, and the extreme ignominy of your souls. Woe to you, obdurate in heart, who commit crime and feed on blood. Whence do you feed on the good things, drink, and not be satiated? Is it not because our Adonai El Elyon has abundantly supplied every good thing upon earth? To you there shall not be peace. Woe to you who love the deeds of iniquity. Why do you hope for that which is good? Know that you shall be given into the hands of the righteous, who shall cut off your necks, slay you, and show you no compassion. Woe to you who rejoice in the trouble of the righteous, for a grave shall not be dug for you. Woe to you who frustrate the word of the righteous, for to you there shall be no hope of life. Woe to you who write down the word of falsehood and the word of the wicked, for their falsehood they record, that they may not hear and not forget folly. To them there shall be no peace, but they shall surely die suddenly. Okay, anyone have anything different?
No. It's all pretty close.
Okay. How long is this one? This next one's not too long. All right, 98. Woe to them who act impiously, who laud and honor the word of falsehood. You have been lost in perdition, and have never led a virtuous life. Woe to you who change the words of integrity. They transgress against the eternal Torah, and cause the heads of those who are not sinners to be trodden down upon the earth. In those days you, O righteous, shall have been deemed worthy of having your prayers rise up in the remembrance, and shall have deposited them in testimony before the angels, that they might record the sins of the sinners in the presence of El Elyon. In those days the nation shall be overthrown, but the families of the nations shall rise again in the day of perdition. In those days, they who become pregnant shall go forth, carry off their children, and forsake them. Their offspring shall slip from them, and while suckling, they shall forsake them. They shall never return to them, and never instruct their beloved. And that really sounds like today. I mean, people are already giving up their kids, killing them all. Okay, again I swear to you, sinners, that crime has been prepared for the day of blood, which never ceases. They shall worship stones and engrave golden, silver, and wooden images. They shall worship impure ruach, devils, and every idol in temples, but no help shall be obtained for them. Their hearts shall become impious through their folly, and their eyes be blinded with the fear of their hearts, and their visionary dreams shall they be impious and superstitious, lying in all their actions, and worshiping a stone. Altogether shall they perish. But in those days blessed shall they be, to whom the word of wisdom is delivered, who point out and pursue the path of El Elyon, who walk in the way of righteousness, and who act not impiously with the impious. They shall be saved. Woe to you who expand the crime of your neighbor, for in Sheol shall you be slain. Woe to you who lay the foundation of sin and deceit, and who are bitter on earth, for on it shall you be consumed. Woe to you who build your houses by the labor of others, every part of which is constructed with brick and with the stone of crime. I tell you that you shall not obtain peace. Woe to you who despise the extent of the everlasting inheritance of your fathers, while your souls follow after idols. For to you there shall be no tranquility. Woe to them who commit iniquity and give aid to blasphemy, who slay their neighbor until the day of the great judgment, for your glory shall fall. Malevolence shall he put into your hearts, and the ruach of his wrath shall he stir you up, that every one of you may perish by the sword. Then shall all the righteous and the holy remember your crimes. All right, what's going on, folks? What do we got?
Basically, they're getting a judgment of basically the people who are like making people sin worse, like building their lives up with other people, stepping on other people.
Everything that's happening here is people that are messing with the Torah. They're going against the Torah, and they're all being judged. All right, 99. In those days shall fathers be struck down with their children in the presence of each other, and brethren with their brethren shall fall dead, until a river shall flow from their blood. For a man shall not restrain his hand from his children, nor from his children's children. His mercy will be to kill them. Nor shall the sinner restrain his hand from his honored brother. From the dawn of day to the setting of the sun shall the slaughter continue. The horse shall wade up to his breast, and the chariot shall sink to its axle in the blood of sinners. Judgment still? Anyone? Cage, you awake?
Yeah.
You here? Jade? Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm here.
Everyone else's version's all the same.
Yep.
It's pretty close.
Okay, 100. In those days, the angel shall descend into the places of concealment and gather together in one spot all that have assisted in crime. In that day shall El Elyon rise up to execute the great judgment upon all sinners, and to commit the guardianship of all righteous and the holy to the holy angels, that they may protect them as the apple of an eye, until every evil and every crime be annihilated. Whether or not the righteous sleep securely, wise men shall then truly perceive. And the sons of the earth shall understand every word of that sefer, knowing that their riches cannot save them from the ruin of their crimes. Woe to you sinners, when you shall be afflicted on account of the righteous in the day of the great trouble, shall be burnt in the fire and be recompensed according to your deeds. Woe to you, perverted in heart, who are watchful to obtain an accurate knowledge of evil and to discover terrors. No one shall assist you. Woe to you sinners, for with the words of your mouths and with the work of your hands have you acted impiously in the flame of a blazing fire. Shall you be burnt? And now know that the angels shall inquire into your conduct in heaven, of the sun, the moon, and the stars, respecting your sins. For upon earth you exercise jurisdiction over the righteous. Every cloud shall bear witness against you, the snow, the dew, and the rain, for all of them shall be withheld from you, that you may not descend upon you, that they may not descend upon you, nor become subservient to your crimes. Now then bring gifts of salutation to the rain, Now then bring gifts of salutation to the rain, that not being withheld it may descend upon you, and to the dew, if it has received from you gold and silver. But when the frost, snow, cold, every snowy wind, and every suffering belonging to them fall upon you, in those days you will be utterly incapable of standing before them. Anyone else have anything different?
No.
Not too much, no. Except in part of it after the snowing, the chilliness, right? Frost says their plagues fall on you.
Okay. All right. 101 is where we're at. Attentively consider heaven, all you progeny of heaven, and all the works of El Elyon. Fear him, nor conduct yourselves criminally before him. If he shut up the windows of heaven, restraining the rain and dew, that it may not descend upon the earth on your account, what will you do? And if he send his wrath upon you and upon all your deeds, you are not they who can supplicate him. You who utter against his righteousness, language proud and powerful, to you there shall be no peace. Do you not see the commanders of ships, how their vessels are tossed about by the waves, torn to pieces by the winds, and exposed to the greatest peril? That they therefore fear, because their whole property is embarked with them on the ocean, and that they forebode evil in their hearts, because it may swallow them up, and they may perish in it. Is not the whole sea, all its waters, and all its commotion the work of him, El Elyon, of him who has sealed up all its exertions, and girded it on every side with sand? At his rebuke dried up and alarmed, while all its fish with everything in it die? And will not you, sinners who are on earth, fear him? Is not he the maker of heaven and earth, and of all things which are in them? And who has given irradiation and wisdom to all that move upon the earth and over the sea? Are not the commanders of ships terrified at the ocean, and not sinners be terrified at El Elyon? 102. In those days when he shall cast the calamity of fire upon you, whither will you fly, and where will you be safe? And when he sends forth his word against you, are you not spared and terrified? All the luminaries are agitated with great fear, and all the earth is spared while it trembles and suffers anxiety. All the angels fulfill the commands received by them, and are desirous of being concealed from the presence of the great glory, while the children of the earth are alarmed and troubled. But you, sinners, are forever accursed. To you there shall be no peace. Fear not, souls of the righteous, but wait with patient hope for the day of your death in righteousness. Grieve not because your souls descend in great trouble, with groaning, lamentation, sorrow to the receptacle of the dead. In your lifetime, your bodies have not received a recompense in proportion to your goodness. But in the period of your existence have sinners existed, in the period of execration and of punishment. And when you die, sinners say you concerning you, as we die, the righteous die. What profit have they in their works? Behold, like us, they expire in sorrow and in darkness. What advantage have they over us? Henceforward are we equal. What will be within their grasp, and what before their eyes forever? For behold, they are dead, and never will they again perceive the light. I say unto you, sinners, you have been satisfied with meat and drink, with the plunder of men and rapine, with sin, with the acquisition of wealth, and with the sight of good days. Have you not marked the righteous, how their end is in peace? For no oppression is found in them, even to the day of their death. They perish, and are as if they were not, while their souls descend in trouble to the receptacle of the dead. 103. But now I swear to you, righteous, by the greatness of his splendor and his glory, by his illustrious kingdom, and by his majesty, to you I swear that I comprehend this mystery, that I have read the tablet of heaven, have seen the writing of the holy ones, and have discovered what is written, and impressed on it concerning you. So what is going on here, guys?
He's basically giving those people, the sinners, judgments. He's saying, you are going to live a peaceless life. You are going to be judged forever, but the righteous are going to live. They're going to be blessed because hold on to your tribulations, wait it out, and he'll be there. He'll be there at the end of the days to basically bring us into his kingdom.
Does any of this sound good to you guys?
Yeah,
For
for
the righteous, yeah. For the sinners, no.
Yeah, it sounds really bad for the sinners. It just sounds terrible. All right, verse 2. That all goodness, joy, and glory has been prepared for you and been written down for the ruach of them who die eminently righteous and good. To you it shall be given in return for your troubles, and your portion shall far exceed the portion of the living. The ruach of you who die in righteousness shall exist and rejoice. The ruach shall exult, and their remembrance shall be before the face of El Elohim from generation to generation, nor shall they now fear disgrace. Woe to you, sinners, when you die in your sins, and they who are like you say respecting you, blessed are these sinners. They have lived out their whole period, and now they die in happiness and in wealth. Distress and slaughter they knew not while alive. In honor they die, nor ever in their lifetime did judgment overtake them. Has it not been shown to them that to the receptacle of the dead their souls shall be made to descend? Their evil deeds shall become their greatest torment. Into darkness, into the snare, and into the flame, which shall burn to the great judgment, shall the Ruach enter, and the great judgment shall take effect forever and ever. Woe to you, for to you there shall be no peace. Neither can you say to the righteous and to the good who are alive, in the days of our trouble have we been afflicted. Every trouble have we seen, and many evil things have we suffered. Our ruach has been consumed, lessened, and diminished. We have perished, nor has there been a possibility of help for us in word or in deed. We have found none, but have been tormented and destroyed. We have not expected to live day after day. We hoped indeed to have been the head, but we have become the tail. We have been afflicted when we have exerted ourselves, but we have been devoured by sinners, and the wicked, their yoke has been heavy upon us. Those who exercise dominion over us, who detest and who goad us, and to those who hate us have we humbled our neck, but they have shown no compassion towards us. We have been desirous of escaping from them, that we might fly away and be at rest, but we have found no place to which we could fly and be secure from them. We have sought an asylum with princes in our distress, and have cried out to those who were devouring us, but our cry has not been regarded, nor have they been disposed to hear our voice, but rather to assist those who plunder and devour us, those who diminish us and hide their oppression, who remove not their yoke from us, but devour, enervate, and slay us, who conceal our slaughter, nor remember that they have lifted up their hands against us. Now, who is this? What is this chapter about? Anybody who's not sleeping.
Basically, it talks about how people think that the rich or the sinners lived a good life, but their sins are actually going to come back to them in Judgment Day.
This looked to me like it's all. This is the righteous, isn't it? The first part is about the sinners. Then it's
right,
like
and then talk about the righteous stuff like that.
the righteous, and it's like they got ruined here on earth, and evil had no compassion against them.
It seems like they get blessed a little more for being punished.
Yeah, so if you were taking a beating in this world for Elohim, then you're on the right track. All right, 104. I swear to you, righteous, that in heaven the angels record your goodness before the glory of Elyon. And I had that marked because I've read this before, but that's just a really good thing right there, right? Right? That goes to everything you guys do, or it also goes to everything you don't do.
All the bad
Right?
you do.
All the evil that when you guys bicker among each other and do evil things, that's going to be written up there as well. And you guys are all going to have to figure this out one day. You're going to all have to revisit every idle word you ever said. Jade, Eli, Cade, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right. Wait with patient hope. For formerly you have been disgraced with evil and with affliction. But now shall you shine like the luminaries of heaven. You shall be seen, and the gates of heaven shall be opened to you. Your cries have cried for judgment, and has appeared to you. For an account of all your sufferings shall be acquired from the princes, and from everyone who has assisted your plunders. Okay, so this is for the good people, right? Wait with patient hope, nor relinquish your confidence, for great joy shall be yours, like that of the angels in heaven. Conduct yourselves as you may. Still you shall be not be concealed in the day of the great judgment. You shall not be found like sinners, and eternal condemnation shall be far from you, so long as the world exists. And now fear not, righteous, when you see sinners flourishing and prosperous in their ways. Be not associates with them, but keep yourselves at a distance from their oppression. Be you associated with the host of heaven. You, sinners, say, all our transgressions shall not be taken account of and be recorded, but all your transgressions shall be recorded daily. And be assured by me that light and darkness, day and night, behold all your transgressions. Be not impious in your thoughts. Lie not. Surrender not the word of uprightness. Lie not against the word of the holy and El Elyon. Glorify not your idols, for all your lying and all your impiety is not for righteousness, but for great crime. Now I will point out a mystery. Many sinners shall turn and transgress against the word of uprightness. They shall speak evil things. They shall utter falsehoods and create a great creation and compose Sephraim in their own words. But when they shall write all my words correctly in their own languages, they shall neither change or diminish them, but shall write them all correctly, all which from the first I have uttered concerning them. Another mystery also I point out. To the righteous and to the wise shall be given Sephraim of joy, of integrity, and of great wisdom. To them shall Sephraim be given, in which they shall believe, and in which they shall rejoice. And all the righteous shall be rewarded, who from these shall acquire the knowledge of every upright path. In those days, says Yahuwah, they shall call to the children of the earth and make them listen to their wisdom, show them that you are their leaders. And the remuneration shall take place over the whole earth. For I and my son will forever hold communion with them in the paths of uprightness while they are still alive. Peace shall be yours Rejoice, children of integrity in the truth. Wow, that last verse right there, that was a humdinger.
Is that the end of the video?
No, I got one more chapter.
Yeah, I got a few more as well. Because my next part, so that was all of Enoch. Now we're on part of a fragment of the book of Noah.
Fragment on part of Noah. What did it say? Did you guys catch that? What it said at the very end of that?
Yeah, I and my son.
I and my son. What does your guys say?
Or
I and my son.
For I and the son. So it all said, everybody. Where's the Trinity come into this? This is a Trinity breaker.
I know, it hasn't talked about
For
it.
me, myself, and I will come down and hold communion with you. Right?
Nope.
Doesn't work like that. Okay, so there's yet another Trinity breaking verse right there. All right, let's roll.
End with amen.
No.
Mine does. And then we go to
Peace shall be yours. Rejoice, children of integrity in the truth. And then I have one chapter left.
Okay.
What does your have?
Ours just says, rejoice, you children of uprightness. Amen.
All right, don't have that. 105. After a time, this is a fragment from, this is the last chapter, and this is a fragment from the book of Noah. Again, we're going back and forth, but I guess to those who have finished this session, thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with us. We're almost done. All right, 1. After a time, my son Methuselah took a woman for his son Lamech. She became pregnant by him and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was as white as snow and as red as a rose, the hair of whose head was white like wool and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. When he opened them, he illuminated all the house like the sun. The whole house abounded with light. Now, is this guy exaggerating?
I don't think so. Maybe he just had, maybe they around there wasn't like white people.
Okay, well, it's not. I think this is a different kind of white. I don't think this is standard white.
Like
I think this
super
is
bright white?
albino white. So there's actually people that are like albinos, and they're like, I think their eyes are, what color are their eyes?
blue.
Is it blue?
I don't know.
What color was his eyes? Blue? I don't know. It didn't say. But anyway, they're like way whiter than everyone else. And so it's just one of Yah's creations. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife, Lamech, his father, became afraid of him, and flying away came to his own father. Okay, Methuselah. Does yours say flying away?
Mine said fled.
Fled away. Okay.
Must is flying.
Yeah, okay. I have begotten a son, unlike others. He is not of men, but resembling the offspring of the angels of heaven, is of a different nature, being altogether unlike to us. He just went freaking out, right? So
He ran to Dad. He's like, help.
Lamech just ran to Pops, and he's like, look, we've had the fallen somehow get in this. His eyes are as the rays of the sun, his countenance glorious, and he looks not as if he belonged to me, but to the angels. I am afraid lest something miraculous should take place on earth in his days. And now, my father, let me entreat and request you to go to our progenitor, Enoch, and learn from him the truth, for his residence is with the angels. When Methuselah heard the words of his son, he came to me at the extremities of the earth, for he had been informed that I was there, and he cried out. I heard his voice, and went to him, saying, Behold, I am here, my son, since you have come to me. He answered and said, On account of a great event have I come to you, and on account of a sight difficult have I approached you. And now, my father, hear me. For to my son Lamech a child has been born who resembles not him, and whose nature is not like the nature of man. His color is whiter than snow. He is redder than the rose. The hair of his head is whiter than white wool. His eyes are like the rays of the sun, and when he opened them, he illuminated the whole house. So,
Laser eyes or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. What is this, red? Or like,
Yeah, what did you
that?
guys say red?
Yeah.
He's redder than the rose. So
Rose.
that's probably freckles, right? Freckles on this
He
guy.
could be like white and freckled.
Like he has like massive. He's like super white, and then he has
freckles are more brown than.
No, the freckles are red, man.
What?
I'm colorblind. I can even see their freckles look red.
They're brown, man.
No. All right. Are they red or white? Or are they red or brown, Nicole?
They're brownish.
They are? I guess I was wrong. All right. Never trusted the colorblind guy. All right. So anyway, he's freaking out here. This kid looks different than anyone else. And this is also different if these guys aren't like white people, like if they are like brown of some color or different color, whatever they are, doesn't matter. I'm not saying anything of the sort. I'm just saying that if he was pure white like this, like even whiter than white, that would be very odd. So they're freaking out for a reason.
And he had white hair, too.
Yeah, white hair. That's
strange.
That's going to be very odd. Yeah. Well, I guess it'd be blonde, right? Just be blonde.
Could be.
All right. Verse 11. When also he was taken from the hand of the midwife, his father Lamech feared and fled to me, believing not what belonged to him, but that he resembles the angels of heaven. And behold, I have come to you that you might point out to me the truth. Then I, Enoch, answered and said, Yahuwah will effect a new thing upon the earth. This have I explained and seen in a vision. I have shown you that in the generations of Yared, my father, who were from the heaven disregarded the word of Yahuwah. That didn't sound right, Yared. My father, those who were from heaven disregarded the word of Yahuwah. Behold, they committed crimes. laid aside their class, and intermingled with women. With them also they transgressed, married with them and begat children who are not like the spiritual beings, but creatures of flesh. A great destruction therefore shall come upon all the earth, a deluge, a great destruction shall take place in 1 year. This child which is born to your son shall survive on the earth, with his 3 sons shall be saved with him. When all mankind who are on the earth shall die, he shall be safe. And his posterity shall beget on the earth giants, not spiritual, but carnal. Upon the earth shall a great punishment be inflicted, and it shall be washed from all corruption. Now therefore inform your son Lamech, that he who is born in is his child in truth, and he shall call his name Noach, for he shall be to you a survivor. He and his children shall be saved from the corruption which shall take place in the world, from all the sin and from all the iniquity which shall be consummated on earth in those days, in his days. Afterwards shall greater impiety take place than that which had been before consummated on the earth. For I am acquainted with holy mysteries, which Yahuwah himself has discovered and explained to me, and which I have read in the tablets of heaven. In them I saw it written, that generation after generation shall transgress, until a righteous race shall arise, until transgression and crime perish from off the earth, until all goodness come upon it. And now, my son, go tell your son Lamech, that the child which is born is his child in truth, and that there is no deception. So what does that mean, is born in truth?
It means it was his kid, he didn't get cheated on, I think.
All right. When Methuselah heard the word of his father Enoch, who had shown him every secret thing, he returned with understanding and called the name of that child Noach. And what does it say in there? Noach. Rest, Noach, the patriarch of the flood. Noach. Because he was to console the earth on account of all its destruction. Another sefer which Enoch wrote for his son Methuselah, and for those who should come after him, and guard their purity of conduct in the latter days. You who have labored shall wait in those days, until the evildoers be consumed, and the power of the guilty be annihilated. Wait until sin pass away, for their name shall be blotted out of the holy Sephrim. Their seed shall be destroyed, and their ruach slain. They shall cry out and lament in the invisible waste, and in the bottomless fire shall they burn. There I perceived, as it were, a cloud which could not be seen through, for from the depth of it I was unable to look upwards. I beheld also a flame of fire blazing brightly, and, as it were, glittering mountains whirled around and agitated from side to side. Then I inquired of one of the holy angels who was with me, and said, What is splendid? For it is not heaven, but a flame of fire alone which blazes, and the clamor of exclamation of woe and of great suffering. He said, There, into that place which you behold, shall be thrust the ruach of sinners and blasphemers, of those who shall do evil, and who shall pervert all which Elohim has spoken by the mouth of the prophets, all which they ought to do. For respecting these things there shall be writings and impressions above in heaven, that the angels may read them and know what shall happen both to sinners and to the ruach of the humble, to those who have suffered in their bodies, but have been rewarded by Elohim, who have been injuriously treated by wicked men, who have loved Elohim, who have been attached neither to gold, nor silver, nor to any good thing in the world, but have given their bodies to torment. To those who from that period of their birth have not been covetous of earthly riches, but have regarded themselves as a breath passing away. Such has been their conduct, and much as Yahuwah tried them, and the Ruach have been found pure, that they might bless his name. All their blessings have I related in a sefer, and he has rewarded them, for they have been found to love heaven with an everlasting aspiration, while they have been trodden down by wicked men. They have heard from them revilings and blasphemies, and have been ignominiously treated, while they were blessing me. And now will I call the Ruach of the good from the generation of light, and will change those who have been born in darkness, who have not in their bodies been recompensed with glory, as their faith may have merited. I will bring them into the splendid light of those who love my holy name, and I will place each of them on a throne of glory his own. And they shall be at rest during unnumbered periods. Righteous is the judgment of Elohim. For to the faithful shall he give faith in the habitations of uprightness. They shall see those who have been born in darkness unto darkness shall be cast, while the righteous shall be at rest. Sinners shall cry out, beholding them, while they exist in splendor and proceed forwards to the days and periods prescribed to them. Dun dun dun. All right, everybody, we just made it to the end of this. All right, what are your first thoughts? Nicole, what are your first thoughts after you've read it to the end of this? You have now officially read the book of Enoch. Give me some stuff. I love putting you on the spot, girl. Let's do
No,
this.
I was just finishing reading this because yours was different.
Okay, you have more?
No, not at the end, but during the middle of it, where it was talking about the mountains.
Right.
Like, I don't. It says, and I saw there what looked like an invisible cloud.
Oh,
For
right.
because of its depth, I could not look over it, and I saw a flame of fire blazing brightly, and like shining mountains circling and sweeping to and fro. And I asked one of the Kadesh messengers who was with me, and said to him, "What is this shining? For it is not the Shamayim, but only the flame of blazing fire, and the voice of weeping and crying and lamentation and strong pain."
Sounds like hell to me. Yeah, so he's able to see into hell. All right. Well, this book bounces all around. This is a lot different than Torah. It's a lot harder to comprehend. I mean, we don't have these same problems with Torah, but which is good. I guess it's a good thing. So, I guess that's
It's interesting and lots of different
tidbits.
stories and different things that correlate with the Bible.
Yeah, I don't see anything here that takes anything outside of it. It doesn't. I mean, it's all the same, right? If you want to walk in righteousness, what will you do, guys?
Follow the Torah.
Follow the Torah, right? And there's nothing else. There's no better walk. There's no other place to put it but to walk through the Torah. And for those who have never heard this, Eli, what is the Torah?
Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy.
Yeah, and that's people say are the old school books are all tossed in the trash and burned on the cross or whatever it is they want to do with it. But it's not what we have come to understand. And if you read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, it says we are to keep the Torah for all generations. And you know, if you want to end up like these people go, I guess if you're living in sin, you're on the right path. But if you want to have a better ending, something that is, you know, a little bit of hope, then it's to walk with Yah and it's to walk with His Son. And I guess that pretty much concludes everything here. Anyone else have anything else? All right.
That's it.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys very, very much for sticking with us through this reading on this. We hope that it has blessed you guys. We hope that you further read this. This isn't exactly a Bible study. This was just a reading through. One day, maybe we'll do an actual Bible study and go through them much, much, much slower and try to figure this stuff out. But for those who have never heard of the Book of Enoch, this concludes the Book of Enoch, and we hope that you guys are blessed.
All right.
Shabbat
Shalom.
shalom.
Shalom.